As the chamber erupted in excited discussion, Sarah exchanged glances with her team. Humanity had achieved its greatest victory not through force of arms, but through the power of innovation and cooperation. They had transformed from an unknown species to a galactic leader in a matter of days. "Send word to Earth," she told Reynolds quietly. "Tell them Operation Lighthouse is complete. The real work begins now." As representatives crowded around to discuss the implementation of the Quantum Corridor Network, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had prepared for war but achieved peace. They had built defenses but created connections. They had expected resistance but inspired cooperation. The galaxy would never be the same. A new dawn had truly arrived, not just for humanity, but for all species who dared to imagine a better future. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were beacons of possibility in a newly connected galaxy. "Send the technical specifications for the quantum corridors to their scientists," she ordered. "Let's show them what cooperation with humanity really means." As the Council fleet hung in space, their crews must have been wondering how they had so completely misread this species. They had come to demonstrate their power, only to discover that humanity had already moved beyond such primitive displays of force. The game had changed. Humanity had played its hand perfectly, revealing not just their strength, but their potential to transform the galaxy. The Council would never again make the mistake of underestimating Earth. New Dawn. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never seen anything like it. Where once representatives of conquered worlds stood meekly before the ruling species, now stood Admiral Sarah Chen, her presence commanding attention without a hint of submission. The holographic displays around her showed the quantum corridor network humanity had begun establishing throughout nearby systems, each pulsing connection a testament to Earth's technological prowess. "The age of isolation is over," Sarah declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Humanity offers not dominance, but partnership. Our quantum corridor technology is just the beginning." High Counselor Vexera, her scales now shifting in patterns of deep interest rather than agitation, leaned forward. "You've achieved in decades what we've struggled with for centuries." "How?" Sarah smiled. "Because we approached space differently. While you sought to control it, we tried to understand it. While you built weapons, we built tools. The quantum corridors aren't weapons, they're bridges." The chamber erupted in discussion as representatives from hundreds of worlds processed the implications. Humanity wasn't just offering faster travel, they were proposing a fundamental restructuring of how species interacted across the galaxy. Dr. Reynolds, standing beside Sarah, activated another holographic display. "We've also developed quantum communication networks that can span entire galaxies without delay. Imagine a galaxy where every species can communicate instantly, where knowledge and culture can flow freely." War Chief Cuttle, who had once called for humanity's containment, now watched with all four eyes fixed on the demonstration. "Your technologies, they make our greatest achievements seem primitive." "Not primitive," Sarah corrected. "Just different. Every species has something to contribute. The Drachnid Empire's metallurgy could revolutionize our quantum corridor stations. The Nexer's energy manipulation could enhance our communication networks." Throughout the chamber, representatives began to understand. Humanity wasn't seeking to dominate, they were offering to elevate everyone. The quantum corridors were more than just transportation. They were a symbol of what was possible when technology was used to unite rather than divide. "We propose a new structure," Sarah continued. "Not a council that rules through force, but a federation that grows through cooperation. Every species brings their strengths, their innovations, their unique perspectives." The protocol minister's crystalline form pulsed with intense light. "You would have us dismantle centuries of established order. We would have you evolve it," Sarah replied. "The galaxy is too vast, too full of wonders to be controlled by any one group. We've spent 50 years preparing not just technology, but a vision of what we could all achieve together." As if to emphasize her point, The holographic displays showed new quantum corridors blooming across the galaxy map, connecting distant worlds in ways previously thought impossible. The message was clear. Humanity's innovation could transform travel, communication, and cooperation throughout the galaxy. The choice is yours, Sarah concluded. Continue as you have, fighting endless wars over resources and territory, or join us in building something greater. Humanity extends its hand in partnership, not submission. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just about new technology or political restructuring. It was about a fundamental shift in how civilizations interacted. Humanity had managed to achieve what no other species had. They had made cooperation more powerful than conquest. One by one, representatives began to signal their support. Even the most militant species could see the advantages of this new approach. The quantum corridors alone would revolutionize trade, exploration, and cultural exchange. It seems, High Counselor Vexera announced, her voice carrying a note of wonder, that humanity has shown us a path we never considered. The Council accepts your proposal, Admiral Chen. Let us begin this new era together. Sarah stood at the command center, watching as humanity prepared to show the galaxy that they weren't just capable of defending themselves. They were ready to revolutionize everything the Council thought they knew about the universe. Let's give them a proper welcome, she said, her voice carrying the weight of decades of preparation. It's time to show them why underestimating humanity was their biggest mistake. The Council's gambit was about to backfire spectacularly. They had come to demonstrate their power, but instead, they would witness the true extent of human innovation. The game was about to change, and humanity was holding all the cards. Humanity's hand. The Council's Fourth Fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kuiper Belt, their massive ships arranged in an intimidating display of power. Admiral Kelvar stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dawn, his multiple eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Sol system. No response to our arrival. He asked his sensor officer, mandibles clicking in irritation. None, Admiral. But we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations throughout the system. Back on Ganymede Station, Admiral Chen watched the Council fleet's arrival with calm anticipation. Are we ready, Dr. Reynolds? The quantum corridor is stable, Reynolds confirmed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. We can proceed whenever you're ready. Sarah nodded, then opened a channel to the Council fleet. This is Admiral Chen of the Sol System Defense Force. Welcome to Earth space. We've prepared a demonstration of human technology that we believe will interest you. Please watch carefully. Before Admiral Kelvar could respond, space itself seemed to shift. A massive corridor of altered spacetime appeared, stretching from Earth to Mars. Through it, they could see a colony ship making the journey between planets not in months, but in minutes. Impossible, Kelvar whispered. His people had theorized about controlled spacetime corridors for centuries, but had never managed to create them. That's just the beginning. Sarah's voice came through again. Watch your long-range sensors. Throughout the solar system, massive structures began decloaking. Space stations larger than cities, shipyards that could build vessels to rival the Council's dreadnoughts, and arrays of quantum satellites that formed an interconnected web of defenses. We've spent 50 years preparing, Sarah explained, her voice carrying a hint of pride. Not just to defend ourselves, but to advance all of civilization. The quantum corridors are just one of many technologies we've developed. Lieutenant Commander Wang's console lit up with incoming transmissions. The Council fleet is requesting data on the quantum corridors. Their scientists are excited. Sarah smiled. This was exactly the response they had hoped for. Humanity hadn't just built weapons. They had created innovations that could benefit all species. It was their ultimate defensive strategy. Make themselves too valuable to attack. Admiral Kelvar, Sarah addressed the Council fleet commander directly. Your ships are currently surrounded by a network of quantum field manipulators. We could disable your entire fleet without firing a shot. But that's not why we reveal ourselves. The holographic displays showed the Council ships suddenly realizing their situation. They were completely enclosed in humanity's defense network, their most advanced sensors only now detecting the full extent of Earth's technological achievements. "We're receiving new transmissions," Wong reported, "not just from the fleet, from the Council itself. They're requesting an emergency session. With you, Admiral." Sarah nodded. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Humanity had just demonstrated that they weren't just another species to be absorbed into the Council's hierarchy. They were equals, perhaps even superiors in some areas of technology. "Send them our terms," she ordered. "We'll join the galactic community, but as full partners. Our technology, our innovations, they'll be shared with all species, not controlled by the Council elite." The quantum corridor between Earth and Mars pulsed with energy as another ship made the near-instantaneous journey. It was a powerful symbol of what humanity could offer, not just weapons or defenses, but revolutionary advances that could transform life for all species. "The Council is responding," Reynolds announced, his voice tight with excitement. "They're agreeing to our terms. They're acknowledging Earth as a full independent power, with rights to develop and share technology as we see fit." Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had achieved in days what other species had spent centuries fighting for. Not through war or intimidation, but by making themselves indispensable to the future of galactic civilization. The quantum lock around the mining ships gently released, allowing them to dock with Ganymede Station. As Sarah prepared to meet the first Nexer diplomats face to face, she knew that the galaxy was about to change. Humanity had announced its presence not with violence, but with an undeniable demonstration of their capabilities. The silent strike had worked perfectly. Now came the harder part, showing the galaxy that humanity was ready not just to defend itself, but to become something more. A partner, perhaps, or if necessary, a force to be reckoned with. Council's Gambit. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was in chaos. The massive crystalline dome, normally a place of measured debate and careful diplomacy, echoed with the angry voices of 100 species. At the center of the chamber, a hologram displayed the Sol system, with particular focus on the recently compiled report from the Nexer fleet. High Counselor Vexera, her iridescent scales shifting with agitation, raised all 4 hands for silence. "Order. We will have order." Her voice, amplified by the chamber's acoustics, finally brought the tumult to a halt. The situation in the Sol system requires a measured response. Measured response. The voice belonged to War Chief Kittle of the Drachnid Empire, his metallic exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's lights. "These humans have detained and humiliated a Nexer fleet. They possess technology that shouldn't be possible for their development stage. They are a threat." Sarah Chen would have been amused if she could have seen the scene. Instead, she was receiving regular updates through quantum-entangled feeds, watching as the galaxy's most powerful beings argued about how to handle humanity's emergence. Another transmission from our observers at the Council. Dr. Reynolds reported, his usual calm demeanor showing signs of strain. "They're voting on a response." The Council chamber had divided into factions. Some, led by the more militant species, called for immediate action to contain the human threat. Others, particularly the research-focused civilizations, argued for diplomatic engagement, fascinated by humanity's technological innovations. High Counselor Vexera studied the holographic display of Earth's solar system. "Our intelligence suggested they were barely capable of reaching their own moon. Instead, we find they have technology that can alter quantum fields at will. How did we miss this?" The answer, of course, was exactly what humanity had intended. For decades, Earth had maintained a careful facade, broadcasting obvious signals, launching primitive satellites, while building their true capabilities in secret. "The Council has reached a decision," announced the Protocol Minister, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix. "We will send the 4th Fleet to the Sol system, not to attack, but to evaluate." Sarah received this information with a grim smile. "They're trying to play both sides," she observed to her staff. "Send a fleet large enough to intimidate us, but call it a diplomatic mission to save face. Fourth Fleet's reputation precedes them," Wang added, pulling up tactical data. "They're known for peaceful demonstrations that usually end with planets accepting Council authority without a shot fired." But the Council had made a crucial mistake. They still didn't understand what they were dealing with. They saw humanity's quantum field manipulation as a clever trick, a single technological advantage. They hadn't grasped the full scope of Earth's preparations. "They're launching the fleet now," Reynolds reported, watching the quantum sensor feeds. 700 ships, including their latest dreadnoughts. "They'll reach our solar system in 3 days." Sarah nodded, everything proceeding as expected. "Initiate Project Lighthouse Phase 2. Let's show them what else we've been working on." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began powering up. Quantum satellites shifted their configurations, and deep space platforms emerged from their camouflaged states. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing not just defenses, but a complete revolution in how space itself could be manipulated. "Message from the Council fleet," Wang announced. "Standard diplomatic protocols. They're requesting permission to enter the system for peaceful dialogue and cultural exchange." Sarah actually laughed at that. "Send them our response. Let them know we'll be happy to receive them, and that we've prepared a special demonstration of our own." As the Council fleet approached, they remained unaware that they were about to witness something that would change their understanding of space travel forever. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their technology. They'd been waiting for the right moment to reveal innovations that would reshape galactic civilization. "All systems are ready," Reynolds confirmed. "The quantum corridor is prepared." The message that streamed toward the alien vessels contained not just language and peaceful intentions, but a clear demonstration of humanity's technological capabilities. It was time for the galaxy to learn that Earth was not just another primitive world to be exploited. It was time for First Contact's true price to be paid, not in blood or conflict, but in the shattering of assumptions about humanity's place in the cosmic order. The silent strike. The alien vessels hung suspended in the quantum lock above Europa, their crystalline hulls reflecting Jupiter's distant light. Inside Ganymede Station's command center, Admiral Chen watched as the first responses from the mining fleet began streaming in. "They're calling themselves the Nexer," Dr. Reynolds reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "According to their transmission, they're part of something called the Resource Acquisition Division. They seem confused." Lieutenant Commander Wang snorted. "Confused is an understatement. Their captain is demanding to know how we've managed to immobilize their ships with primitive technology." Sarah studied the translated messages scrolling across her display. The Nexer's tone shifted from dismissive to demanding to increasingly desperate as they realized the extent of their situation. Their ship's most advanced scanning systems couldn't even detect the quantum field holding them in place. "They're attempting to send a distress signal," Wang announced. "Quantum entanglement communications, highly sophisticated. Should we block it?" Sarah shook her head. "Let it through. In fact, help it along." She smiled as her officers turned to look at her in surprise. "We want them to call for help. The more of their civilization we can talk to at once, the better." The Human Defense Network, hidden throughout the solar system, tracked the Nexer's distress call as it rippled through subspace. Within minutes, responses began pouring in from what appeared to be a massive fleet just outside the Kuiper Belt. 17 vessels incoming, Wang reported, much larger than the mining ships. Military class, based on their energy signatures. Sarah nodded, everything proceeding exactly as the simulations had predicted. "Time to show them our second trick. Dr. Reynolds, initiate the Faraday Protocol." Throughout the solar system, quantum satellites shifted their configuration. Humanity had spent decades studying the fundamental forces of the universe, learning to manipulate them in ways their visitors hadn't imagined possible. The approaching Nexer fleet was about to discover just how creative humans could be. The rescue fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system, their weapons charged and shields at maximum. Their commanders had undoubtedly expected to find a primitive civilization that had gotten lucky with their mining ships. Instead, they found something else entirely. Faraday field active, Reynolds announced. Total coverage of the solar system achieved. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Every Nexer ship, from the mining vessels to the mighty warships, suddenly found their energy systems behaving in impossible ways. Plasma conduits reversed direction. Shield frequencies scrambled themselves. Weapon systems reported nonsensical readings. "They're trying to compensate," Wang observed, watching the chaos unfold. "But they can't. We're not blocking their energy. We're changing how it behaves at a quantum level within our space." Sarah stepped forward, addressing the communications array. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Sol System Defense Force. Your ships are currently experiencing the effects of a localized change in quantum field behavior. We can maintain this effect indefinitely. I suggest we talk." The response was immediate. The Nexer fleet, their mighty ships now barely able to maintain basic life support, had no choice but to listen. Their commanders, used to dealing with primitive species through intimidation and force, found themselves in an unprecedented situation. "They're standing down," Wang reported, a note of pride in his voice. "All weapons powered down, shields offline. They're requesting peaceful dialogue." Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had just demonstrated that they could disable an entire alien fleet without firing a single shot. The message was clear. Earth was not to be trifled with. "Prepare to receive their diplomatic delegation," she ordered. "And make sure our guests understand something crucial." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Make sure they understand that what they've seen today is just the beginning of what we can do." As the Nexer ships hung powerless in space, their crews must have been wondering how they had so drastically underestimated the species. They had come expecting to find primitives, and instead discovered a civilization that had mastered forces they barely understood. First contact's price. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Ganymede Station, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling storms of Jupiter looming in the distance. The massive gas giant's presence had always brought her comfort, but today its churning clouds seemed to mirror the turmoil in her mind. The holographic display before her showed what her team had discovered just hours ago: an alien mining operation on Europa. "How long have they been there?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Dr. Marcus Reynolds, her chief science officer, adjusted his glasses. "Based on the thermal signatures and ice displacement, we estimate 3 Earth days. They're using some kind of energy beam to penetrate the ice sheet. They're after something specific." Sarah's jaw tightened. Humanity had spent the last 50 years preparing for this moment, building their defenses in secret while maintaining a facade of primitive radio transmissions and outdated satellite technology. The Artemis Protocol, as it was known to only a select few, had transformed Earth's solar system into an invisible fortress. "Show me their ship configurations," she commanded. A hologram shifted, displaying 3 vessels hovering above Europa's surface. They were elegant, almost crystalline in design, with energy signatures unlike anything in humanity's database. Lieutenant Commander James Wang stepped forward, his tactical overlay adding new layers of data to the projection. "Their shields are impressive, but they're broadcasting their frequencies openly. They don't expect any resistance. They don't even know we're watching." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The aliens, whoever they were, had made the same mistake so many others would have. They assumed that because humanity wasn't visibly present in the outer solar system, they weren't there at all. "Time to make our presence known," Sarah declared. "Initiate Protocol Lighthouse." Throughout the solar system, hidden satellites and stations began powering up. Quantum entanglement arrays, dormant for decades, synchronized their signals. Earth had learned from its science fiction. They wouldn't repeat the mistakes of countless fictional civilizations who faced alien contact unprepared. The mining operation on Europa continued, oblivious to the net closing around them. The alien vessel's energy beams carved through the moon's icy surface, seeking resources they assumed were unprotected. Their sensors, advanced as they were, failed to detect the nanoscale observers watching their every move. "All systems are ready, Admiral," Wong reported. "We can disable their ships without causing any casualties. The containment field is prepared." Sarah nodded, her mind racing through the simulations they'd run countless times. First contact was always going to happen. Humanity had simply chosen to control when and how. Send the warning message. All frequencies, all known encoding patterns. The message was simple. You are conducting unauthorized mining operations in Sol-controlled space. Cease all activities immediately and prepare for contact. The alien ship's energy beams stuttered, then stopped. Their communications arrays lit up with sudden activity. Sarah watched as they scrambled to make sense of the situation, their ships clustering together in a defensive formation. "They're powering up their weapons," Wong observed. "Standard response to an unexpected threat." "Let them," Sarah replied. "Activate the quantum lock." In an instant, the alien ships froze in space, caught in a field that humanity had developed by studying the quantum properties of black holes. It wasn't harmful, but it was completely inescapable. "Signal detected," Dr. Reynolds announced. "They're trying to communicate with what they assume is our primitive radio technology." He paused, a hint of amusement in his voice. "Should we let them know we've been reading their ship's communications since they arrived?" Sarah stepped closer to the hologram, studying the alien vessels with a mixture of curiosity and determination. "No, let them think what they want for now. Prepare the diplomatic package. It's time to show them exactly who they're dealing with." As Ganymede Station's quantum computers began composing a response in the aliens' own language, Sarah reflected on the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had chosen peace as its first option, but they had prepared for every other possibility as well. The alien ships hung motionless above Europa's scarred surface, their crews undoubtedly struggling to understand how a supposedly primitive species had rendered their advanced technology useless. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to prepare for the unexpected. "Send the diplomatic package," Sarah ordered. "Let's welcome them properly to our solar system."